Not to pay the electric bill, I guess. Let's see. If I were a letter, where would I be? Oh, certainly not in here. No. Then people would find me, right? So, of course. Mice, huh? Big mice. Hey, you come in out there with your hands up! Charlie, what are you yelling at? Hey, somebody in there. I heard him. Charlie, are you drunk again? Come on out to the car, will you? I want to hear the game. Hey, I'm telling you, man, there's somebody in there. Charlie, are you crazy, huh? Raven!
Oh, Cliff Nelson, my God, you scared me to death.
You know, I thought I might find you here.
Let me up. What are you doing here?
I might ask you the same question, except the answer's obvious, isn't it? We're both looking for the same thing, aren't we?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The letter? The letter that you gave April and Draper Scott?
Don't be crazy. It flew off her terrace.
Into Elliot Dorn's hands. Or else, why are you sneaking around here so late at night,
Elliot was my friend. He gave me a key to this place. You're the one who's breaking and entering.
Oh, why don't you call a cop?
Cliff, I was looking for a compact, a solid gold compact that I left in his office.
Sure, yeah. Did you find that letter in there, too, while you're there?
What are you doing? I
need that letter.
Stop it.
Hey, you don't have it. Raven. See you in court tomorrow?
I'm so glad you're here. I was so afraid you'd be gone.
What's with you? You look like somebody's after you.
You don't know how close you are.
What happened?
I'm sorry, I have to have a drink. It was awful. I was at the Unicorn.
Unicorn? That place is closed down.
I had a key, and it's not what you think. Elliot gave me the key when we were still seeing each other, and I never gave it back.
The club is supposed to be padlocked. It was the scene of a crime.
Well, it wasn't. It was locked, and so I let myself in.
Why? What were you doing there?
I was looking for something. I wasn't trying to steal anything, and if you look at me like I'm a criminal, I'm going to walk right out and
calm
never come
down.
back.
Try and give me a responsible answer.
All right. I was looking for a compact, a solid gold compact that I had left in Elliot's office when I was there a few days ago.
You told me you hadn't seen Elliot for months.
All right, so I did see him. But it's not what you're thinking. Elliot was being very childish, and my mother was here, and he wanted to know why I dropped him, and he wanted to know how serious I was about you, and...
You finish that drink, you're gonna fall flat on your face.
All right, then would you put some ice in it? Anyway, he was very upset, and he told me that he was going to walk in on me when my mother was there. You know how petty people can get. So I went to his office, and I told him that he should just accept the fact that we were all finished and there was nothing he could do, and I guess I was very nervous, thank you, and I left my very valuable compact in his office.
So you picked tonight to try and retrieve it. My God. Raven, don't you realize my officers have been all through that place? If there was a lady's compact lying around, they would have found it.
Well, they didn't, did they?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Well, I thought I could find it. My mother gave me that compact in London. It wasn't just valuable, it had sentimental value.
All right. All right, excuse me.
Wait a minute, what are you doing?
I'm going to chew somebody ragged for neglecting to padlock the scene of a crime.
Will you just listen to me for a second? There was someone else at the Unicorn.
What?
Cliff Nelson was there. He scared me to death.
The hell was going on there tonight? A convention?
I don't know. All I know is that he said some horrible things to me, and he's bound to make some kind of an accusation, and if anyone was there to rob the place, it was him.
Cliff Nelson's an attorney, not a catbird. What was he doing there?
I don't know. I think he thought that Elliot had the letter.
Letter?
There was this letter that they think that I wrote to Draper in April, but and none of it was true anyway. That horrible man knows that he's going to lose the case, and he knows that the court is going to give me custody of the baby, and Derek, please, you have to protect me.
Protect you? I can't even understand you.
Oh, just love me, please. That's all you have to do. Please.
Well, just as I always thought. Elliot and I have the same taste in literature. That rat. He took out the centerfold. Haven't read this issue yet. May as well get something out of this exercise I'm getting. What a mess.
I really can't eat anything.
That might do you good.
I feel like I've had 10 years taken off my life. Do I have any gray hair?
Like, I can't help thinking you brought it on yourself. You should have notified the police about your lost compact. If it had turned up when they took inventory of the Unicorn, it would have been returned.
Well, I didn't think of it. Well, I did think of it, but I thought you might be upset with me.
Me?
Well, then you'd know that I was in Elliot Dorn's office not too long ago.
I think I would have survived the blow.
Derek, I would have been fine if it wasn't for Cliff Nelson. He had no right to be there, you know.
Careful, sweetheart. This sounds like a classic example of the pot calling the kettle black.
Well, I can just imagine what he's going to say about why I was in Elliot Dorn's office.
Such as what?
I don't know. But I'm sure he has a wild imagination.
Well, you're worrying about nothing. The real problem is that the Unicorn shouldn't have been accessible to anybody. All the extra keys should have been rounded up by the investigating officers. Padlock placed in the front door.
Well, there wasn't.
There will be.
You're not going to let him spread rumors about me, are you?
Don't you worry about Cliff Nelson. I'm going to have a talk with him. Find out just what he was doing there and how he managed to get in.
Good. Threaten him. Really threaten him. He's a coward just like all other bullies.
You'd like me to beat him with a rubber hose?
Yes, he deserves everything he gets. He had no right to do that. I was scared.
Please spare me your upstanding citizen routine, will you?
Derek, I just want your help.
Yeah, you always come to my office or my apartment whenever you need help.
Of course I do. I feel very secure here. Why shouldn't I come to the man that means more than anything in the world to me?
I mean something to you?
Yes. Why else did I mean, why did we... Derek, you know what I mean.
You just think it's nice to have the chief of police in your corner. If somebody else had my job, you'd be at his house right now.
How dare you say that to me?
It's the truth.
If you cared about me, you wouldn't say things like that.
I care about you. I just don't care to be used.
Oh, really? Maybe I should just leave.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I didn't say that.
I won't bring my problems to you anymore. Not
didn't
here,
mean
not at
it.
the office. I mean, you don't need to feel used because I'll never see you again. Never.
Logan, are you sure you feel all right?
Fine, all things considered.
Well, you look awfully pale and tired to me.
Didn't sleep too well.
I was under the impression that you didn't sleep at all last night. I heard you pacing back and forth across the floor more than half the night.
I've got things on my mind.
I know you do. This custody trial's been a drain on all of us. Are we anywhere near the end of these proceedings?
Well, both sides have presented their case. The only thing left are the closing remarks. Then it's up to Judge Lewis.
You're saying, then, that we might even get a verdict as early as this afternoon?
No, the judge will probably take a few days to review the testimony, but 2 days or 10 minutes, he'll only be being polite.
You really feel that there's that little doubt about the outcome?
Considering the testimony so far, I'd say the decision is very obvious.
Good morning, everybody. It certainly is a beautiful day for a trial, isn't it? Aha. So you're going to be bad sports. Hey, come on, somebody has to lose.
The fact is, Raven, we have nothing to say to you. It's as simple as that.
Geraldine, you shouldn't frown when you squinch up your face like that. It's very aging. So you're going to ignore me?
I've got a couple of words for you, but they're not fit for polite society.
Cliff, come on. Aren't you going to say hello?
Oh, Raven, that is you.
What are you doing?
Oh, I didn't recognize you in the light.
I don't think that's funny. I'll see you all in court.
Well, I feel as if I'd been left out of a private joke. Can someone tell me what that cryptic exchange was about?
Let's just say that Raven does her best work in the dark.
Let's go sit down, Geraldine.
Maybe more work than we know.
Cliff, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm filling out a subscription to this magazine I found in Elliot Dorn's office. Do you know that Miss October's hobbies are horseback riding and going to the opera? But not many people listen to a soprano when she walks down the...
You are in a courtroom. We are suing for custody of my child. I'm trying to prove that I'm going to be a decent father, and my lawyer is sitting at the table reading this junk.
Well, give me a break, will you? I got my closing remarks prepared, and they're very good. Besides, Rutledge is going to go first.
Until this case is finished, you will pay attention. Then you can get back to your literary pursuits.
All right, whatever you say.
Logan?
Mike, I'm glad to see you.
Glad I could be.
Mr. Nelson, do you wish to call another witness or present any additional evidence?
No, Your Honor, we have no further witnesses and no further evidence.
Mr. Nelson, you were granted a continuance based on your claim that the time would enable you to obtain information that you implied was very critical to
Yes,
your case.
I know, Your Honor, the continuance was asked for in good faith, but the evidence didn't materialize. At this time, we'd like to rest our case, Your Honor.
All right, very well. Now, I will permit brief closing statements by both attorneys, and I mean brief, gentlemen. Mr. Rutledge.
Thank you, Your Honor. My statement will be very brief because, in fact, there's very little left to be said. Your Honor, I believe it would be a terrible injustice to both the parent and the child if Raven Swift is denied custody of her natural son. Every word of testimony has shown her to be a caring, concerned, loving mother. And it was the burden of the father to provide evidence that would prove otherwise. So where is the evidence that Raven Swift is unfit to keep her own child? Where is the proof that she's abused, neglected, or in any way mistreated Jameson Swift?
Cliff.
Where are the complaints from the neighbors suggesting that she is anything but a totally loving mother? Where is the eyewitness who can state that Jameson Swift has received anything but the very, very best of care?
I'm not it.
Now, I point out, Your Honor, that there was only one truly qualified witness to the well-being of this child, whose future you will decide. Perhaps the most respected social welfare worker in all of Monticello, Mrs. Benita Thomas, who objectively reported to this court that Jameson Swift
It's Raven's letter.
happy and well-treated little boy. So where is the evidence that Raven Swift is unfit to keep her own child? Where is the proof that she has neglected, abused, or in any way mistreated Jameson Swift? Where are the complaints from the neighbors suggesting that she's been anything but a loving mother? Where is the eyewitness who can state that Jameson Swift has received anything but the very best of care? Now, let me remind you, Your Honor, there was only one truly qualified witness to the well-being of this child whose future you will decide. Perhaps the most respected social welfare worker in all of Monticello, Mrs. Benita Thomas, who has objectively reported to this court that Jameson Swift is a healthy, happy, and well-treated little boy.
My God.
And in conclusion,
It's Raven's letter.
if the court will permit me one small sentimental remark, Your Honor, it has been said that because God could not be everywhere at once, that he created mothers. Thank you very much.
Mr. Nelson, do you wish to make your closing remarks now?
Cliff, Your Honor, my name is Michael Karr. I'm an associate representing Mr. Swift.
Mr. Karr is very well known to this court.
Thank you, Your Honor. With the court's indulgence, we would like to ask for a 10-minute recess.
Well, for what purpose, Mr. Karr?
Well, some pertinent information has just come to my attention, and I would like the opportunity to discuss it with my client and my colleague.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sure you'll agree we've already had enough delaying tactics.
It is quite important, Your Honor. I assure you that it will have a great deal of bearing on the decision in this case.
Well, very well, Mr. Karr.
Your Honor, Mr. Nelson has already rested the case for his client.
Yeah, but Mr. Karr hasn't the benefit of these proceedings, having heard them, Mr. Rutledge. No, I think we can survive a 10-minute delay. The court is still in session.
All rise. Mike, what's going on here, huh?
Take a look at this, Cliff.
This is a letter. This is Raven's letter. Where'd you find it? What hat you pull this out of?
I pulled it out of your magazine.
I didn't know I had the letter, really. I didn't.
Yeah, but you stole the magazine from Elliot Dorn's office, didn't you?
Oh, the guy is dead. What's he going to do with a magazine like that, huh?
Well, apparently what he did with it was hide Raven's letter in it. And now that we've got it, we've got to use it.
I can't believe this. You mean I had the letter all the time in that magazine?
I think we can convince Judge Lewis this evidence is important enough to warrant reopening the case.
I don't know. If Rutledge wants to be a sticker on this, he could say we've closed our case already. We can't introduce any new evidence.
Don't think that's going to be a problem. Judge Lewis is a fair man, and when he knows what we have, he's going to give us permission.
I think so, too. And I've known him for a long time.
Well, why don't you handle the case, then? He'll listen to you before he'll listen to me.
Is that all right with you, Logan?
It's fine with me.
Okay.
All rise.
Be seated.
Mr. Karr, have you had enough time to discuss this situation with your colleagues?
Yes, Your Honor. And we would ask further the court's indulgence. We would like to ask for a reopening of the trial for Mr. Swift.
Your Honor, I object in the strongest possible terms to the antics of Mr. Swift's attorneys. This is the second time this painful decision has been delayed. It is most unfair to both the mother and the baby.
Your Honor, if we may approach the bench to discuss the nature of this new evidence, I think the court will understand its importance to the case.
Very well, Mr. Karr. Please step up to the bench. You too, Mr. Rutledge.
I don't understand. What the hell does Mike do?
I have no idea, but I'm sure he knows what he's doing.
He's certainly handsome.
All right, gentlemen. Now, this court will permit these proceedings to resume, and Mr. Rutledge will be allowed to make still another closing statement at the conclusion if he so desires. So, Mr. Karr, what's your pleasure?
Your Honor, we would like to recall a previous witness, Raven Swift.
Do I have to? Why should I testify against myself?
Mrs. Swift, would you kindly take the stand?
Your Honor, I've already given a testimony. Why do I have to subject myself to their abuse?
Now, these are not criminal proceedings, Mrs. Swift. The immunity rule does not apply. We are merely trying to get at all the facts needed for my decision. Please remember that you're still under oath from your previous testimony. Very well, Mr. Karr, you may go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mrs. Swift, as Judge Lewis said, I did not have the privilege of hearing your testimony in this case.
Mr. Carr, it's not my fault you weren't here.
No, unfortunately, I could not be present. But I did read the transcript, and it would be quite simple for us to refresh both our memories as to what you said, especially concerning the period when you were separated from your husband.
Your Honor, do I have to say all this again?
Well, counsel will please try to avoid redundancies.
Yes, Your Honor, of course. Mrs. Swift, when you decided to separate from your husband, you also decided to go abroad. Is that correct?
Yes, I already said that.
So you purchased an airline ticket, one ticket to London. It was a one-way ticket, wasn't it?
Yes, I explained I purchased a one-way ticket because it was cheaper. I did not have very much money, and I assumed my mother would help pay for the trip back.
And, of course, you only needed one ticket because you were not taking your child with you.
No, I did not want to subject my baby to the rigors of a trip across the ocean.
Mm-hmm. So you left your child with April and Draper Scott, didn't you?
Yes.
And what did you tell Mr. and Mrs. Scott about your plans at that time?
I told them where I was going, and I asked them to take care of my baby while I was gone.
In reality, didn't you tell the Scotts that they could keep your boy and raise him as their own son?
Your Honor, you said I didn't have to answer the same questions.
You can give the same answers, Mrs. Swift.
All right. I told them that I was going to London. I told them that I loved my baby very, very much, and would they please take care of him while I was gone for a few weeks.
A few weeks, but actually you were gone for several months, weren't you?
Yes, and then I came back to get my baby.
You came back to get your letter, too, didn't you?
I beg your pardon?
Well, you left a letter with Mr. and Mrs. Scott, didn't you? That's in the transcript.
Yes, I did. I left a letter giving them permission to take care of my baby.
Exactly what did you say in that letter?
I already told that story. Do I have to keep saying these things over and over again?
All right, Mrs. Swift, I'll spare you that trouble. We'll have the court stenographer read your statement, if Your Honor will permit.
Yes, permission is granted. Oh, Miss Frobish, would you please read that passage?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Nelson, Mrs. Swift, isn't it true that you gave April and Draper Scott a letter of permission to keep your son? Mrs. Swift, I did give them a letter, that's true. Mr. Nelson, what did it say? Mrs. Swift, it merely gave them the right to take care of Jamie during my brief absence. I thought it was proper to give them some kind of authorization. I was a lawyer's wife, you see. Mr. Nelson, isn't this the truth, that the letter said, in effect, that they had the right to keep Jamie forever, to raise him as their own child, to adopt him if they wished? Mrs. Swift, that's a lie.
Thank you very much, Miss Frobish. That's enough. Mrs. Swift, you recall that testimony, don't you?
Yes.
And you still consider your reply correct?
Yes, that's what the letter said.
Are you familiar with this, Mrs. Swift? You do recognize this letter, don't you, Mrs. Swift?
I'm not sure.
Well, it is your handwriting, isn't it? Would you like to read it to make sure?
No, I don't have to read it.
Then allow me. To whom it may concern, I, Raven Swift, mother of Jameson Swift, do hereby give Mr. and Mrs. Draper Scott full and complete permission to raise my son as their own, with complete rights to make any and all decisions on his care, education, and upbringing, and to initiate whatever proceedings they deem necessary for legal guardianship or adoption. I declare that I am Jameson Swift's only legal parent and make this statement in full confidence and trust that April and Draper Scott will make ideal parents. And it is signed Raven Alexander Jameson Swift. This is the letter you left with Mr. and Mrs. Scott on the evening you went to London, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought that letter was lost.
Oh, yes, you thought it was lost, which is why you felt completely free to commit perjury in this courtroom.
I forgot what was in the letter. It was a long time ago. I don't remember.
In truth, you attempted to destroy this letter because you remembered its contents only too well. Mrs. Swift, you lied in this courtroom about this letter. You lied about your unfailing devotion to your child. And you lied about your true motivation in wanting him. It's vindictiveness, isn't it? It's an act of pure spite against your husband. And Mrs. Swift, spite has nothing to do with mother love.
That is not true. I love my baby. All right, I lied about the letter, but that's because I want my baby. Don't you understand? I have to have my baby.
Your Honor, a lie has been told in this courtroom, and we submit it was not just a simple lie, but one which reveals an important truth. The letter we submitted in evidence not only proves that Raven Swift was perfectly willing to give up forever the child she professes to love, but she was also willing to commit perjury in order to achieve her goal. Now, Mrs. Swift contends that the lie was motivated by the desperation of mother love. We submit that it was motivated by the unhealthy emotions of rage, revenge, and vindictiveness. As in all custody matters, the welfare of the child is the primary ingredient, the only real basis for a just decision. We ask you to consider carefully, Your Honor, whether this child will benefit or suffer when he's raised as the instrument of one parent's hatred of the other. I think we all agree that the key ingredient in raising a happy child is love. And it's love that the father, Logan Swift, brings to this court as the sole and powerful argument of his case for custody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Karr. Mr. Nelson. Mr. Rutledge, is there anything further you would like to say at this time?
No, Your Honor, there's not.
Very well. This court will now stand in adjournment until such time as I am able to render my decision. The respective attorneys will be notified.
All rise.
That was terrific. It's too bad you didn't get to Elliot Dorn's office a little earlier. Maybe you would have found the letter instead of me.
I have not lost yet.
So, now you're the one who found the letter after all, huh?
Oh, I found the magazine, didn't I?
Mike, you were marvelous. What an incredible surprise.
I'd still like to know where the letter came from.
You, me, Logan, you and I both saw it fly right off the terrace.
You can thank Cliff for finding it, April.
Thank you, Cliff.
Just did a little detective work, that's all.
We'll tell you all about it later. Now it's lunchtime and I'm buying.
No. Draper and I have a better idea. You are all coming up to our house for a celebration.
I think a celebration may be premature, April. The verdict's not in yet.
I am willing to accept the invitation anyway.
I'm willing to celebrate anywhere. How can we lose after what happened?
Oh, it's so wonderful. I'm so happy.
Well, come on, let's get going. Mike, it's a shame Nancy wasn't here to see you at this big moment.
Yes, she'd be disappointed she couldn't be here. She had to be upstate. But I think when I tell her, she's going to be very happy what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good for Logan. He deserves to have some good news.
Molly, you're a miracle worker. The sandwiches look delicious. Thank you.
Well, it really was very simple, Mrs. Karr.
And she whipped him up in such a short time.
Oh, I only hoped I'd made enough.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Can I do anything to help?
Oh, you sit there and relax, Geraldine. And can I freshen your drink?
No, I wish I would have brought a bottle of champagne.
The verdict is not in, Cliff. Don't push your luck. Thank you, Molly.
Well, I think I'm going to have to agree with Cliff Nelson. I can't see Raven winning after what happened in that courtroom this morning.
Well, I'm sure we won't have to wait too long. I have the feeling Judge Lewis will have his verdict within 24 hours.
Well, 24 hours seems like a lifetime to me. I think it's the hardest thing about trials, waiting for the verdict.
Well, I still don't know what happened. You were going to tell me. How'd you get that letter?
Well, I told you all about that. It was all Cliff's work. Now, he may not be much of a lawyer, but he's a wonderful detective.
Wait a minute, I've been thinking about this stuff. You know, I may be willing to change jobs. This detective work is fun.
Now, don't get carried away.
No, I'm working on my next case already.
Which one's that?
Elliot Dorn's murder.
Are you serious, Cliff?
Yeah, I know who killed Elliot Dorn, and I'm going to prove it, too.
Oh, I'll get that. Are you making a joke, or is this the truth?
Just wait and see, huh?
Oh, give us a hint. Come on.
I'll do more than that in a day or two. I'll give you the murderer.
Mrs. Scott, I have to tell you something.
What is it?
Well, I just couldn't stop her. Oscar said she was already in the elevator. I guess he didn't know that she wasn't invited.
Hello, everybody. I know, April, you forgot to invite me, but I'm here.
Well, perhaps I shouldn't say this, but I'm inclined to agree with Cliff Nelson. I can't see Raven winning this case after what happened in that courtroom this morning.
Well, I'm sure we won't have long to wait. I have the feeling that Judge Lewis is going to hand down his verdict within 24 hours.
Well, 24 hours still seems like a lifetime to me. I think that's the hardest thing about trials, the waiting for the verdict.
Cliff, I still don't understand what happened. You were going to tell me how that letter came up.
Well, I told you. It was all Cliff's work. I don't know how good a lawyer he really is, but he's a pretty good detective.
Just a minute, I have seriously considered changing occupations, This detective work's a lot of fun.
Let's not get carried away, Cliffy.
I'm working on a new case already.
Which one?
Elliot Dorn's murder.
Are you serious, Cliff?
Yeah, Mike. I know who killed Elliot Dorn, and I want to prove it, too.
I'll get that,
Yeah.
Mrs. Scott.
Cliff, are you joking or are you telling the truth?
Wait and see.
Give us a hint.
Well, no more than that. In a day or two, I'll give you the murderer.
Mrs. Scott, I have to tell you, there was no way to stop her. Oscar said that she was already in the elevator. I guess he thinks she's invited to the party.
Hello, everybody. I know, April, you forgot to invite me to your little party, but here I am.
Damn it, Raven, you weren't invited.
Oh, my goodness, then that makes me a party crasher, doesn't it? But I'm sure it's all right with you, April and Draper, because we so rarely get together for a social event.
As a matter of fact, Raven, it isn't. You have invited yourself up to this apartment once too often.
Oh, well, don't worry. It'll never happen again, really. Thank you, Cliff. You see, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to come here, all my conspirators in the same room.
Come on, Raven.
No, actually, that's not true. There's one missing. I'm surprised you didn't invite Deborah Saxon here.
For heaven's sake, Raven, stop making a fool of yourself.
But it was just too good an opportunity to come here and tell you all exactly what I think of you, how much I loathe and despise each and every one of you.
It's enough, Raven. Let's go home, shall we? All right, Raven, you've delivered the message. Now get back in the elevator and push it down.
No, I haven't even begun to deliver my message. You're all so proud of yourselves, aren't you? Look at you! Congratulating yourself on how clever you were in the courtroom.
After what happened this morning, it's proved how really deceitful you are.
Why don't you tell us about it, Raven? Did you know that Elliot Dorn had your letter?
Of course she knew, Mike. That's why she was sneaking around Elliot Dorn's office last night,
No,
wasn't it?
I didn't know Elliot Dorn had my letter.
Oh, didn't you? You didn't post Elliot Dorn outside the lobby and then make a paper airplane out of the letter?
Oh, my God, that's exactly how it happened. She threw the letter off the terrace, and he was standing there ready to pick it up.
Is that the story, Raven?
Why don't you want to save it, Raven? You'd have been better off destroying it.
Shut up! Will y'all just shut up? I don't want to hear another word about that letter.
You know, maybe you didn't know that Elliot Dorn was out there. Was he pulling a number on you?
Look, it doesn't matter.
No, nothing matters but your revenge,
You
right?
were not out of this apartment within 2 minutes.
That's
I'm calling
true.
the police.
That's true. You don't give a damn about Jamie. The only thing you care about, the only reason you want him back is so you can hurt me.
I am warning you,
Take it
Raven.
easy, April. She'll be gone.
You, little Miss Innocent. I bet this whole party was your idea, right?
Yes.
Yes, you just wanted to gloat over your triumph. You don't care about Jamie either. The only thing you care about is taking men away from
Damn
me.
it, Raven, stop it.
You think she wanted you? You think you're such a great catch? She wanted you because you were engaged to me, and she just wanted to see if she could take you away.
I was finished with you a long time before I met April.
Don't argue with
The
her, Draper.
same
She's
thing
hysterical.
goes for you too, Logan. That's why she wanted you. That's why she came to you with her little fluttery eyelashes and her chocolate candy kisses.
That's enough.
Leave me alone.
Just...
I hate you.
Raven.
I hate you all. I could
come
choose. Let go of me. I hate you all. I wish you were all dead. All I want is my baby.
Well, we can't let that destroy the party. Well, Molly, would you see to our guests, please?
Yes, of course, Mr. Scott.
Well, I have to be back at the office anyway. Nancy's going to be calling me from upstate, and I want to let her know what's happened.
Yeah, I've got a client meeting myself.
Oh, it's a shame. I've got 12 sandwiches left.
Well, I'll take some, Molly. I get hungry around 4
Oh,
o'clock.
that's a good idea, Mr. Nelson. I'll just pack you up some.
Thank you, Molly.
Now, please, we mustn't let what happened affect how we all feel, the good feelings we've had. I have the feeling that Logan is going to get his little boy back. And that means that I will, too.
I think we have every reason to hope, Geraldine. Cliff, you heading downtown?
Oh, no, I think I'm going to stay around here and protect my client. Raven looks really upset.
The whole world's against me.
You turn people against you, Raven.
There was a conspiracy with you and Mike Karr and everybody else down there in that room.
All we wanted was the truth. You knew that letter was genuine, and you went into that courtroom, and you lied. Whose conspiracy is that? Yours or ours?
Now you're going to take my baby away from me. Don't you understand? He is the only thing that I have left.
Sing another tune, Raven. You hate playing mother. You know it.
Well, then why did I do all those things you're accusing me of? It's because I want my baby!
Well, let's leave her alone. She can have her cry, then she can go home.
No, please don't leave. Don't go away. I don't want to be alone, Logan. I want to talk to you.
All right, you want to have another shot at me in private? Is that it?
Why can't you understand? Why can't you look at me the way I really am? I want to change. Don't you see? I just want to have a family And family doesn't matter to you. I don't have a mother, I don't have a father, I don't have anybody.
Your story touches me deeply.
Logan, when the judge gives his decision tomorrow, if he gives you custody, you don't have to accept.
You must be joking.
Can't you give me custody? All I want is legal custody, please. Look, you can have him. He can live with you. I'll make some kind of agreement. I'll do anything you want.
That's a contradiction, Raven. If you have legal custody, that means you have Jamie.
I just want my baby to meet mine, don't you see? Look, I won't even have to see him that much. I'll visit him once a week, once a month. Whatever you want, I'll do whatever you want.
The answer is no.
Well, then why can't we both be the parents again? Please, let's get back together. Look, I know you used to love me. April is gone now. Please. Logan, please, can't we be a family again?
You really must be out of your mind, Raven, if you think there's any chance of us getting back together.
Logan, you used to love me so much when I first had Jamie. Don't you remember? Can't you love me like that again? Don't you want to be happy?
Sure. Of course I do. Maybe I don't know what would make me happy, but I certainly know what wouldn't.
I'll be different. I'll be good. I promise. Please. Look, we can live a wonderful life. We can go away together. We'll go on vacation. Don't you think we've earned that?
I'll tell you what you've earned, Raven. You've earned a rejection from Judge Lewis tomorrow. I don't know whether you'll get it. I certainly hope so, because if it happens, I want Jamie back. I want him back as soon as you can bundle up his little baby things. Now, if you will excuse me, I have another court appointment this afternoon.
Logan! Logan! Damn it!
Well, how is she?
Well, she's still slightly hysterical. I'm very sorry that this happened.
It's not your fault.
Certainly seems to have broken up the party, doesn't she?
Yes, she has. Mike and Draper had to get back to the office, and Geraldine had to get down to the studio.
I am awfully sorry, but I have an appointment myself with the grand jury. I just hate the thought of leaving Raven on your
It's
hands.
all right, it's all right. I'll see to it that she gets... Oh, God, I can't take her home. Molly has just left to visit Emily at the hospital. Means I don't have anyone to take care of Julia. Cliff?
You want me to take care of her?
Look, don't worry about it. I'm sure Raven can get home on her own.
No, I don't think that's a good idea. I think one of us should see to it that she gets home. If anything happened to Raven, I don't think any one of us would feel very good about that, now would we?
Well, I'm not too sure about that.
Cliff.
Okay. Who knows? Maybe I'll earn some points for my merit badge. I'll take care of her. I hope. No cries of welcome home mommy from the baby. From Mrs. Twilly. As soon as she took Jamie to the park, she'll be back about 4. Well, at least you can get some rest.
Goodbye, Cliff.
You sure you're all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
You look terrible.
You say the sweetest things.
Last night when we met in the Unicorn.
I don't want to talk about that.
Just a minute. Last night when we met in the Unicorn, you were running around there. Were you looking for the letter?
No.
Take it easy, will you? We've already got the letter. It's already been admitted to evidence.
I was looking for a solid gold compact.
Oh, you were looking for the letter, all right. What I don't know is why didn't you take it the first time you were there? You wanted to take it the first time you were there, but you were afraid to hang around the scene of a crime too long. Was that it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about is why didn't you take the letter when you went there to murder Elliot Dorn?
You have no idea who you're dealing with. Now get out of here. Get out of here!
Well, you know my attitude about optimistic predictions, but this time I really think we have better than a 50-50 chance of winning it. Which means that Logan may have his child back within a few days. Hang on just a second, Nancy. Anna left me a message. Haven't had a chance to look at. Well, what do you know? It may be sooner than that. Judge Lewis is going to hand down his decision tomorrow morning. Yeah. Well, that's a shame that you won't be able to be back here, but you might be back for an even happier occasion. Yeah, we're going to keep our fingers crossed. I'll do that. Love you, darling. Bye-bye.
Sorry I'm late, Mike. I had to ferry Raven home to him.
Oh? Well, that was above and beyond the call of duty.
I don't think she appreciated it. Tell Nancy about what happened today?
Oh, yes, and I also told her about what's going to happen tomorrow morning.
Oh, that was fast.
Maybe a new world's record.
Yeah, this is good news. Has Raven been notified?
Well, her lawyer will tell her.
Poor Rutledge. Mike, if this case goes against her, I'd hate to be in her path.